Let me tell you what happens when the maid does all the cooking. Sometimes she takes over the role of the wife.
I actually take them aside and say, this is my home. This is my home.
There are friends of mine close to me that, Yewande, why are you allowing your husband?
Saying I'm the man in the house, and then, you are crushing your partner.
I remember, I always say, marriage is to be enjoyed,
not
not
to be
endured.
However, wherever you need help, I'm there. You have to be there.
Why would she not have a headache when you want to, you know what I'm saying? Why would she not, when you're away, they'll be like, oh, thank God.
Sign of relief.
Sign of relief. Here we are again.
Here we are again. There was something I wanted to point out. I wear black. I love wearing black. It took a while to get ready,
I know.
And you said something. You said, if you wear the same thing, then, that people will move. What's that about?
The difference between men and women, Babashola. There's some things men will... Why do you think when you go to these shows and everything, nobody ever worries about what the man is wearing? It's what the woman is wearing that they'll be talking about. It's not like me too, but at least it blends, you see, red and black. It goes. Can you imagine if both of us are in black? They wonder if we're in a funeral. So you can be the black background and I'll come with the color.
No problem. No problem. Today we are talking about, we are based in the United Kingdom.
Yes. Relationship management in different continents.
Yes. And I'm mindful of the fact that when we speak from the context of what we do here in the United Kingdom. I'll give an example. I love washing up.
Yes, and I remember I said my husband loves cooking.
And your husband loves cooking. I can imagine faces. Look, I'm a British Nigerian. I can imagine my friends in Nigeria saying,
are you okay?
Are you well? Washing up in the kitchen when this is there, and but
don't forget they have Olusola. If you are in Nigeria, you live in Lagos, you might have a Olusola. You might have Uche that can do those things for you.
Well,
as they say, when you come to UK, it's a leveler. Have you ever heard that saying?
UK is a leveler.
So this can impact on your relationship. For example, I was in Abuja last year. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. And my goodness. In fact, I said I can get used to this. And I've lived in the UK for over 40 years, but I do travel quite often to different countries, different African countries, and obviously Nigeria is one of the places I go, Ghana is one of the places I go, and the treatment is different, not even from the point of view of the respect, the respect first. Here, all right. The way people treat one another, and we're talking about relationships. This is still a relationship podcast. How do you now get used to a country like ours where everybody has to chip in to make the relationship work, versus you can have people waiting on you that will ease the flow of your relationship?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just my disposition. I've always loved to, well, I don't want to use the word cooperate, but I always like to make my presence felt at home.
Yes, and it's naturally so, because there isn't anyone to help. The alternative is, which some couples find themselves in, is that they have these culturally defined roles that then ends up impacting on the quality of their relationship.
Definitely.
And people do it here. I mean, there's women generally are expected to be the ones taking care of the children, and there's nothing wrong with that, and doing the cooking and the cleaning in some of our cultural backgrounds. However, in this context, if that woman is also working. And some of these things are borrowed from a bygone age.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
at the end of the day, if you're a stay-at-home parent, usually the mom, then you have the time to do the cooking, the cleaning while your partner, your husband is out
It's
to
hardly
work.
the case now.
But here, to make things work, both people in the relationship have to be working. And if you are both working, then add some 2 or 3 children to the mix.
Wow.
Everybody has to play a part.
So you can imagine both rushing out to go to work and coming back tired, and then the man with the mentality or with the notion of, the food has to be ready. How will the food be ready?
Let me even make it more interesting for you. I know people where not only the food has to be ready, it has to be freshly made. So all these kind of concepts of how we will cook maybe the weekend, usually the woman will cook all different dishes, put it all in the freezer with label. Some men say, I don't want fridge food. Testify, put it in the comment. You know that these things happen.
Yeah.
And maybe you are even one of those people. Nothing wrong with liking your food fresh, but learn how to do the fresh food.
Definitely.
So that if both of you are working, there is help. Because this is part of the reason why people leave usually a situation where they've got house help and so on. Because those who come to settle in United Kingdom right now are those who can afford it. They're not refugees in the main.
Yeah.
And we're talking in 2024 right now. And so you find that the culture shock of having to do everything by themselves is really putting a strain on their relationship. Because usually one party will be expecting the other one to take care of the children, to do the cooking, to do the washing, and the woman is frantic. And I know that this is a problem in some relationships, because I have women who come and say to me, my husband likes fresh food, and I'm really finding it difficult.
Over here, they will say you're having a laugh.
And that's why some restaurants will always have business, because women, I see them now, they will just go. We have one particular one that the one I'm talking about. They will just order and bring it. But that's good if you are one of these men who don't mind food from outside. That's another topic. I don't eat outside food, and I don't eat freezer food. I only eat freshly made food.
Then make sure that you take care of your wife. Make sure that the wife, if the wife wants to, stay at home, and then you go out and do the work. Because honestly, it is difficult in this country, in this climate, in the United Kingdom, for both to go out and then rush back, and then my wife, maybe the advantage is that she loves cooking. However, there are times when she gets tired, and I just do not put any pressure on her at all. If she's tired, she's tired.
This is good. So speak to men, please. I beg, speak to my brothers. Speak to the men.
You see, my understanding and my appeal, should it be an appeal?
Yes, please.
My appeal is that you have to sit down, even before you enter into a marriage or into a relationship. Sit down and define the rules. Sit down and let there be a heart-to-heart talk, and tell the wife that, look, back home could be Nigeria, it could be anywhere, it could be Indonesia, it could be Philippines, it could be anywhere. That this is how we used to do it. This is how our parents did it. But you are not expected to do that. However, wherever you need help, and there you have to be there. The man has to be there. And the days of especially if you're living abroad, where you have a maid hanging around doing all the cooking, and even in Nigeria, where I come from, my origin is Nigeria. If the maid does all the cooking and the wife doesn't, there's still something missing.
Let me tell you what happens when the maid does all the cooking. Sometimes she takes over the role of the wife. Stories for other days. But I think from what you're saying, what we're hearing is that we have to be relevant in the cultural context that we're in. And I appreciate that some people are not used to that and it's frowned upon. I mean, you'll even have the in-laws, which again, we can talk about that in a separate podcast. The in-laws will come and see you in your setup and say, Babashola, why are you doing that? That is real.
I know.
Where maybe a supportive husband is there supporting their wife, and then they bring the mother or the father from back home to be with them, and that father or mother is criticizing the way that they've done their setup.
Do you know how I would respond to that? I won't tell the relative off in front of my wife. I'll actually take them aside and say, this is my home. This is my home. And never should you interfere. I will be.
I have to be honest with you, it's easier said than done. And
I have actually implemented, when some in-laws try to, I don't have many in-laws that are bold enough to do that. But even, I don't think anyone has directly, but they have observed how I do things, and they haven't dared to interfere because they know my stance on it.
I'm really feeling what you're saying, and women, drop some comments about what Babashola is saying, because they need to hear this from a man's perspective. I've had people say to me, oh, my husband is a one-off, most men are not like that. I know he enjoys the cooking. Some women have even gone as far as said, and these are friends of mine close to me, that, Yewande, why are you allowing your husband? Why am I allowing my husband to do the cooking? Why am I allowing him to do this? Why am I allowing him to do that? Am I not seeing that should be my role? And I'm like, I have a role too in the relationship. And we actually, first and foremost, and this is what I think we need to bring out of this. Like Babashola said earlier, we have to define in our Western context what we actually enjoy doing. Because quite honestly, even in our back home context, there are things that maybe the man or the woman enjoys doing, but because the culture is frowning upon it, you can't do it in public.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is a shame, because even in the Western context, as much as we're talking, most of the best chefs in the world, in every context, are men. So how, if men are not encouraged to cook, how will they become chefs?
Very true.
How will they develop that passion? So that's just something for us to consider. Just like a lot of men are into fashion. My son is into fashion. And quite honestly, the way that we have to do it is not say, okay, we started this podcast saying, you are just always in black. It's the women they are looking at. This younger generation, the men are much more into fashion than we who are in our middle age.
Yes.
They are. Sometimes when my son finished dressing, I have to check. They now take care of themselves. As a consequence, the men are living longer. And I'm happy to say that. I've said to my husband, you will not die before me. And because I'll make sure you're taken care of. And that doesn't mean me doing everything for him. It means me allowing him to be himself.
To be himself.
Just like he will allow me to be myself. And I remember one of the podcasts I put, somebody, I think the topic we were dealing with is that what is a woman's role in marriage? And I think I said something like, to be able to be herself. And somebody put in the comment, she's got her man under her arm.
What a low self-esteem.
So I'm realizing that if we cannot be able to adapt in different contexts, are we not putting extra pressure on our relationship to be able to thrive?
I agree.
I want to be able to have time with my husband to do nice things. Men classically are the ones that will complain that she says she got a headache. Why would she not have a headache when you want to, you know what I'm saying? Why would she not have a headache? When she came back from work, she took care of the children. She cooked fresh food. Then when you get to bed, you want to have some action.
And that is the beginning of, withdrawals and, problems and challenges. And because those little things add up. They do add up. So I would just encourage men that rethink it. I know of men that, they are so good in putting the African culture.
Oh, yes.
And then so good, saying I'm the man in the house. And then, you are crushing your partner, you are crushing your wife. And I would just say that, listen, you are in it together.
It's a joint venture.
It's a joint venture.
And remember, I always say marriage is to be enjoyed,
not
to be endured. And a lot of people are enduring this. And one of the reasons is because of the cultural expectation. And cultural expectations are killing relationships because culture can change. In fact, we should be the one dictating the culture. It's not everything that's culture that is good for us. And we have to look at the context of where we are. One of the things I look forward to when I go to Ghana or Nigeria or South Africa, at least those are places I've been, I look forward to that Koisala,
Where you're waiting upon.
Koisala. It's like before I get there, I'm calling. But labor is also cheaper.
Yeah.
So my pound sterling can get me a Koisala for the 1 week that I'm there or the 2 weeks that I'm there. I put my feet up. In fact, I wish I could bring Koisala here to help me. But here, we're in a partnership.
Yes.
And you don't want your wife or your husband to die before
and to resent you.
Or to be resentful. Or to, when you're away, they'll be like, oh, thank God.
Sign of relief.
Sign of relief. It's okay for men to do cooking, cleaning, washing up. It's okay.
It is.
And if you don't enjoy it, just do a little bit. Let the rest of the family members help. It's not a crime. And so for women, don't feel like you are not a good woman if you don't enjoy cleaning or cooking. It still has to be done. And there's a saying, what did they say? Cleanliness is next to godliness or something. But that cleaning doesn't have to be done by one person.
Yes. I agree 100%. 100%.
And if you can afford to use your money to buy you some help, is that a problem with that, Babashola?
No, there isn't. There's no problem at all. If you can afford, I give an instance, a washing machine broke down suddenly. My wife, she's proper. Her things have to be in place.
Of course, she's a nitty. Me, I'm a roughie.
She's a nitty. She's the sort, the type that before she cooks, she cleans the oven and
Oh yes,
and
that's like my husband.
I respect her for that. So the washing machine broke down and she does the laundry, and it was piling up. I had to sort it out. We went to to the laundry, and so I don't expect her to take care of that as well.
Babashola,
it's a no-brainer for me.
You have lived in the United Kingdom for how long?
God, for how long now? For over 3 decades now.
Exactly. So you have developed yourself. Although there are some people, you can take them out of the...
I was just about to say that.
out of the country, but you can't take that mentality.
Definitely.
So we pick and choose, don't we? Sometimes we pick and choose.
Yes.
But if you value your husband or your wife or your fiance or your girlfriend or boyfriend or your partner to be, remember, they're human beings like you. If both of you are tired, and I remember when I was dating online, that was one of the questions. I did a questionnaire. I said, if we're both tired and we need to eat, what would be your response? And then I give some options.
You won't even think
go
twice
to restaurants. You still have to do the cooking. Obviously, he
straight.
Was one of the ones who did very well in my 20 questionnaires. There were some things that were deal breakers for me.
Yes.
And we have a good marriage. We've been married now for 7 years. He's a good man. And I'm a good woman. And we try and bring out the best in one another. Of course we argue.
That is what
this is about helping you to get the most out of your relationship. So you don't go and exchange what you have for another. But that other one is not going to satisfy you. Classically, one of the things that men are particular about, Babashola, I beg, correct me if I'm wrong, is they want you to be ready for action, Abby, and not to be tired.
Yes.
If you don't want your husband
Yes.
to be complaining, you have to be ready for action.
I agree.
And so if there are things that are
I
stopping
agree
you,
1,000,000 times.
if there's things that are stopping you from doing those things, then discuss.
Yeah.
It's okay. But if you are a couple with means, and it doesn't have to be the man or the woman, buy in the services to help you. You understand, to have a better quality life.
Yeah. You've said it. You've said it all. You've said it all.
Thank you for being a man that will talk to our brothers.
Let's have your comments. And,
yes, let's have your thoughts. What's been your experience of
definitely.
these kind of things?
Definitely. Yeah, nice one.